Okay, so here are some extra problems for section 8.6 just to go through in case you forgot to do some stuff. So number two, we're looking at this one, and then the sheet it said it's law of sines, but we also know it's law of sines because we have two angles and a side. And that's always the thing. You have to have at least two angles and then some random side. So the way the law of sines works is the sine of an angle over its opposite side is equal to the sine of an angle over its opposite side. Well, in this case here, I know this angle, but I don't know its opposite side. I know this opposite side, but I don't know its angle. Well, this is the easier one to rectify because 91 plus 52 is 143. Subtract 108 that from 180, that ends up giving us that it's 37 degrees. So I know this is a 37-degree angle. So now what I'm able to do is say sine of 52 degrees over x, because again, sine of an angle over its opposite side, equals sine of 37 over 20. Okay. And now in order to solve for x, I can cross multiply. Okay. So x times the sine of 37 equals 20 times the sine 52. And then to solve for x, divide by the sine of 37. So its exact answer is 20 times the sine of 52 over the sine of 37. Now to get a decimal approximation for that, get my calculator. 20 times the sine of 52 divided by, and make sure you close the parentheses after that, divided by sine of 37. There we go, 26.1. Or is it 0.2? Sorry, 0.2. Okay, 26.2. All right, great. Next one, let's take a look at. This problem is a law of cosines problem. I know that ahead of time because I've got two sides and the angle between it. Okay, and this is the type 1 that the book likes to throw us for law of cosines, where I'm going to solve for a side. Okay, so that one is the side we're solving for squared equals the sum of the other two sides squared. So it looks a lot like the Pythagorean theorem to start off with, where you're solving for this side, use the other two sides there. But then it's minus 2 times the product of those two sides times the cosine of the angle opposite the side we're looking for. Okay. Now the nice thing about this is I can throw all this into the calculator at once and find out what it's equal to. So get my calculator out. 12 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 12 times 14 times cosine of 62. And that gives me, I don't know, 182.7 or 0.226, let's just say. Nearest hundredth is fine. Okay. And then to solve for x, take the square root of both of those. So x is going to be whatever the square root of that is. So second square root. And if you have a scientific, or if you have a graphing calculator, you can do second answer. I think it's the same thing on the scientific as well. Second answer will give you the previous answer, and square root of that, 13.5. There we go. All right, now the last one to look at is what if you had to solve for an angle using the law of cosines. So this is a law of cosines problem with angles. And I know it's a law of cosine angle problem because I have all three sides. I don't have any other angles. You have to have at least one other angle for law of sines. So I'm looking to solve for this angle, which means I need to set it up like I'm solving for this side. So it's the side squared equals the other two sides squared added together minus 2 times those sides times the cosine of the angle I'm looking for. Well, I'm looking for x. Now the difficult part comes into play that I have to do a lot of this stuff separately. So I have to do this part by itself. I need to do this part by itself. and then I need to do this part by itself. Okay, all that has to come separately. So 10 squared is 100. This is 144 plus 121, so that'll be 265. And then 2 times 12 times 11, I don't want to mess with that in my head. I'll just make a mistake on that one. $264. Okay. Times the cosine of x. Okay. Now again, I still have this part here. I still have this part here. And I still have this part here that I'm still kind of working on, because my whole goal is to get this by itself, the cosine. Okay. So in order to do that, the first thing I have to do is subtract 265 from both sides. And then I have to divide by negative 264 to cancel it off. And then I'm just going to leave it. I'll cancel the negatives, but it'll be 165 over 264. Yes, you can get the decimal approximation for that, but now I'm going to work backwards to the angle. In order to do that, that's where we do inverse cosine. Okay, so inverse cosine of 165 over 264, that's x. So clear this out. Second cosine, second cosine, 165 divided by 264. 264. And I get 51.3. So I think it says nearest degree, 51 degrees. Okay, there you go. That's section 8.6.